And on top of that, I know that some authors view the book banning because it started in schools as kind of a children's author issue, but it is not. It is truly not, because we know that this kind of white Christian nationalist movement just takes one bite at a time and moves, right? And we don't want to be the frog in the pot that slowly boils, because I know exactly what all their talking points are, right? I grew up with it and I understand where we're going and I understand what the end goal is, and that would be to ban all romance novels for public consumption. And of course, they're usually, they couch it in words of, safety for children, right? But it goes far beyond that. I remember asking my mom when I was like, I don't know, 14 or 15, like, well, if these are Christian romance novels, like, why couldn't I read a Christian romance novel? Because it's usually like kisses and a fade to black. And there's usually a heavy emphasis on trying to convert the hero before the end of the book to Christianity. And she said, and this is a very common reasoning that is still like going on within this smaller community. She was like, well, reading romance novels will set you up, especially at my young age, will set you up for too high expectations for your future husband or for any man you're in a relationship with, right? You're going to read this book and it's all like swoony kisses and like, very dramatic, book level conflict of saving you from certain doom or whatever. And then you close your book at the end of the day and you look around and your husband left his socks on the floor. And no person can live up to a fictional hero. And so it would be setting these examples in your head, and you will eventually, resent the real people around you. And that is a theme that continues on. I've read on the internet men talking about like, oh, well, I don't want my wife reading a romance novel. There's no way I can live up to this like effeminate man because these are men written by, other women. It's just going to build resentment. And then it's going to ruin what we do have because she just like can't understand that I'm a flawed person as opposed to, whatever is written on a page. And a lot of times the terms like emotional pornography will come up. This is emotional pornography. Women need to be convicted of their sin and put these aside and focus on like the man that they have in their life, their husband that God put before them. Some people will just straight up say, well, romance novels are pornography for young girls. And even Christian romance novels, specifically from like inspirational lines, they would argue that that's the same. So this is very much something that affects romance authors, right? We cannot be like, oh, well, they're just focusing on school libraries. It's fine. They are not. That's just where they're beginning. And, we should recognize that their end goal is truly to get rid of any book that they don't like. They'll start with ones with sexual content or what they deem sexual content, right? But in the end, it's going to be every author's fight because fundamentalism is about power and control. And not just control of a person, but control of knowledge. Because if you learn things, then you start questioning everything else, and they can't have that.
Right, right. It's chilling.